so you might be interested in that. But the consolidation thing, I was just saying, is one thing I did talk about a while ago. I thought about, as we all do, we just say we get involved with the internet, we get addicted to the internet, whatever it is. I think Felix said that his mother thinks that he needs help. Maybe we do need help, I don't know. But this is the future. This isn't going to go away. As I've said before, the genie is now out of the bottle. We can't put it back, regardless of what anybody else wants to do, whether it be Viacom, whether it be telecommunications companies who want to sort of put tiers onto the way that we access the internet. Ultimately, the future's here. You know, we're moving all the time now, aren't we? As I said, the genie is out the bottle. We're not going to go backwards. We're going forwards with this. Now that we're here, I don't think we can ever look back, because we're hooked in some ways. I can't really imagine my life without the internet now, especially things like email, and especially things like YouTube as well. And there are certain applications, email being the main one, YouTube being another one, the way that I interact on the internet. As I said before, lots of other presences elsewhere, but I'm going to try and keep it down to a fair, not too many. The others are there as backups or whatever. I mean, I've got more than one channel on YouTube. One was a backup as well. And I think that that is the future, but I suppose it depends on the way you are. I've always been hopefully forward thinking. I've always been interested in science and technology and the way that sort of technology moves on with the internet. I take an interest in that. There was a video the other day by Pappy Stew about the world's oldest blogger, Olive, I think it's Olive Riley, who's 108 years old, lived down in Australia, who sadly passed away very recently. And she was blogging up until about a month ago when she was in a nursing home. And I think that's brilliant. We've seen it here on YouTube. I mean, I got involved with YouTube because of Peter, Geriatric 1927, who's now approaching 80, I believe. You know, and that was a big thing. That was the reason that sort of, at the time, that YouTube really took off. He wasn't the only person that did it, but he became such a well-known celebrity because he put himself out there. He'd given it a go. He's an older person going into a young person's realm, I suppose, which is what a lot of people thought the internet was at that time. We're only talking sort of 2 and a bit years ago. So, you know, things are moving on. I don't think we're ever going back. More and more older people are getting involved. In my age group, 50, we might be considered over the hill by a lot of the sort of youngsters that are around, but I think they're gaining respect by seeing people like us on here. As I said before, subscribers that I've got a lot of younger people who subscribe to my videos, which I think is brilliant. The fact that they're listening to me, I listen to them, they're taking advice from me, if you want to call it that, or they're listening to my views and learning something. And I think the more that you do get involved with the internet, the more that you do get involved with sites like this, you realise how much we've all got in common, how much we can all work together, and how we can move forward as a group, as a human race, if you want to put it in that sort of way. You know, we're all the same. Although we're all individuals, ultimately we're all after the same sort of things. And the internet has shrunk the world considerably. So I think we're going forward, but things are moving all the time. Things are changing. Hence the new sites that are coming along, new things are coming along, new technology is changing. Lots of examples of that. I watched a video the other day by Radiohead, a brand new video by them, their new single called House of Cards. And what they've done, apart from the fact that the video's got no photography in it whatsoever, it's all 3D images and things like that that have been made entirely on a computer, have been regenerated on a computer. What they've done, I know this is not unique, other people have done it before, is that they're allowing people to go and get the source code or whatever, or some of the images, the data, should we say, for that video, and to make their own videos, to have like a mash-up thing, you know. I know people have done it in here some time ago on my birthday. Someone asked, I can't believe it was Steve, 21st Century Cat, or whether it was John Reagan, said, let's have an Andy Mooseman mash-up. That sort of idea, taking something that we've got and moving it and mashing it up and trying something new, because we're all individual people. We can all come at this from a different angle. We're all amateurs. Well, the majority of us on here, we're all amateurs. The cult of the amateur is now coming along, and I think that's something that a lot of other people don't like, especially the big media corporations. I've probably touched on this before. They don't like to see us people out there because we're the future. You know, the future is more the amateur type of thing. I did actually find a comment in here somewhere. That's one of these things that I've written down in one of these little book lists. I called YouTube the Wild West of broadcasting, and I think that's what it is. And that was written some time ago. So that's what we're doing. We're different. We're changing things, but things are moving on all the time. But that is partly because of us. We're changing things. We're asking the questions, and so people are creating these sites or altering the sites, changing the sites themselves because of what we're asking for. We are sort of moving this along without probably even realising it. We've created something new here, like the whole vlogging type of thing. I think is fairly new. When sort of the guys started up YouTube, it was to sort of put little pre-made videos of themselves, you know, family bits and pieces, that type of thing. But it's turned into this. The vlogging side of it is coming out, and I think this is taking off. I think Gary mentioned that some of his friends are now starting to see the potential of vlogging, because as I said before, even if you don't post something, even if you don't upload something, you can sit here in front of the camera and just talk, and you can get things off it, out into the open, off of your chest and that sort of thing, and you might feel better for it. And if you think it's a good video, if it's a good point, and you think, oh yeah, I like that, then you can upload it. You can join the vloggerhood, you can join the community by doing it. And I know lots of other people have been inspired. I was inspired to start vlogging by other people. You may well have been inspired by other people to do it yourself, and that's snowballing. That's sort of becoming a bit of a steamroller, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger as that snowball does, as it goes down the hill. And I think the avalanche of vlogging isn't too far in the future. People are starting to take notice of it now. We've had the recent Viacom case. We all know the sort of the background to that, but you know what happened. Whether it was to do with us, I think Gary mentioned this as well, whether it was to do with us, but the petitions that were started up, that we all signed, the videos that people made, probably the letters and comments that Viacom got, and the odd phone call from the Pope as well, things like that, may well have made a difference. They saw an undercurrent there, and then maybe that's turned their head. I'd like to think that anyway. Maybe I'm sort of overblowing our sort of influence, I suppose. But I do believe that things are taking notice now. I saw an article the other day about firms and social networking sites. They're starting to realise that maybe they should be using them a bit more. And the article was also saying that some firms don't realise it's a big thing, social networking. We're into it. We're still learning from it, but there are so many people out there who still don't know it. I know we've all quoted this before about so many people don't understand what we're doing. I've got no idea. As I said, Felix's mother thinks we need help for doing this sort of thing. It's taking up so much of our time, but it's become part of our lives, as I said, and it's moving on and on. I just read a book recently, actually, about this whole type of thing. I try and sort of read a couple of those sort of business books that you've got, sort of popular economics books and things like that. I just read one called Wikinomics, which I may well expand on in another video. But one thing I've noticed about some of these books is that they all touch on YouTube, and of course these books have all been written in the past. They're written a year or so ago, even if they've been updated, and they all start seeing the potential of YouTube, but you can see that we've moved on, and I think that's the trouble with a lot of these things. And one thing that's great about video, one thing that's great about the internet, is that it's instant, it's here and now, it's in the present. It's not anything that you've read, even a newspaper, it's yesterday's news. Any book that's written is going to be out of date by the time it comes into print. Whereas blogs, things like that, or even vlogs like this, are instant. They're the here and now. I could be talking about something that happened to me 2 minutes ago, and this video could be up within half an hour or something like that. It's there. Although it's still history, it's far more current history. It's far more up to date, in the now, if you want to call it that, than a book is. So those books are out of date. We're moving on. So anybody who writes something, it's gone. And as I said, we're evolving, we're moving on and all the time. I find it quite exciting the way things are going with the internet. Anything apart from the problems that might arise, I just wish that Mr. Tim Berners-Lee had actually patented his ideas when he first came up with them. I have a great Englishman there. If he'd have patented his ideas, we might not have some of the problems now with the big companies sort of coming in and thinking about trying to slow it down, or realising that so much is now for free with the phone calls, the Skype type of thing, all this type of thing. It's basically for free, apart from just paying your ISP or something like that. The speeds are increasing, we're able to do more and more now. I was reading about